Hi, my name is Gilles Hausammann. I am your host for the Empowered Human Summit. Move beyond your limitations and fulfill your soul's purpose while experiencing joy, abundance, and love. I have been drawn to organize this summit because of a heart school. And during my whole life, I was feeling this heart in the love in my chest. And I was living in a world that was not giving so much love, I would say. The world was frightening around me. And yeah, it's not so long ago that I realized that, well, we have to change things in this world. So yeah, it was a hard school, and okay, I worked on that, and I'm here doing this summit. And yeah, because we need to open up our hearts in order to let flow this love outside into the world. And yeah, because we need to bring love to earth also. And this is my pleasure to welcome you, Jeilene, on this show, Jeilene Tracey.
Hello. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I will present you to the viewers so that they know a little bit more about you.
Okay, great.
Jeilene Tracey, you are a vibrational geneticist who channel light-coded sound vibrations to create shifts in the energetic, emotional, and physical elements of the body. Working with multidimensional light beings, you harmonize the physical DNA to its crystalline counterpart, amplifying its resonance and bringing the body into coherence and alignment with its highest potential. The vibrational genetics modality was developed by you, Jeilene, during your work with clients as a body talk practitioner, when you began to connect with several multidimensional beings who offered their help and guidance during healing sessions. One such group is a council of compassionate guides known as the Mantis. The Mantis are an ancient race of beings who are here in support of Earth's and humanity's ascension. They are adept healers and geneticists who bring their wisdom and insights to Earth during this unprecedented time of change and potential for the human population. Through your work with the Mantis and other extra-dimensional beings, you have reawakened your deep connection to the Earth and its healing power. Jeilene, you received your degree in biology from Smith College with an emphasis on molecular biology and spent 15 years in the biotech industry. At the age of 39, you began your awakening journey, sparked by several personal aspects of your life that created the need for growth and expansion of consciousness. This began a multi-year discovery process of the metaphysical world that led to a complete shift in every aspect of your life and continues to this day. Jeilene, you have studied several healing modalities such as Reiki, Theta healing, shamanism, and body talk, and your healing sessions are inspired by all these practices. So, welcome to you. And what I loved when I connected with you is this connection to the earth, because I felt this call also for the earth. We need to bring love on earth because we are like, I don't know the word in English right now, but we misuse it.
Abusing. Yes,
abusing. We are abusing her. Mm-hmm. And it's like now we are more and more aware of that. And this is my house call also for the earth, because we are so deeply connected to her. We wouldn't be here if the earth, she's as our mother in a certain way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in fact, I often say she's our true ancestor, because every constituent of your body, every atom comes from the earth. And so when we connect into the earth and we magnetize our energy fields to hers by dropping roots down into the earth and connecting into her crystalline core, we harmonize our own energy field. And in fact, it's been discovered that we cannot live and survive without that Earth's dimensional electromagnetic field, because scientists have discovered when astronauts go out into space that their muscles atrophy, their immune systems become hampered. So they actually equip their spacecraft with that Schumann resonance that many of you have probably heard about, that 7.83 megahertz resonance that comes both from the Earth and then also is in the ionosphere from lightning strikes, that the energy gets trapped into the folds of the energy there. So the Schumann resonance is very malleable. It's all around and bathes us all the time. So we're always in this Earth electromagnetic field. But it's also very perturbed and changed by human consciousness. And if you're familiar with the Heart Math Institute, like math, like arithmetic, they've done a lot of research and scientific discovery about how human consciousness interacts with this Schumann resonance. And they actually have meters all over the world as part of the Global Coherence Project to discover what the shifts in consciousness around the planet when, say, there's a traumatic event, or even a sporting event, or something that has a lot of people involved in one singular type of feeling, how that affects that Schumann resonance. It's really fascinating. You can actually go onto their website and see the spikes in the Earth. But what it really boils down to is that we are impacting Earth, and Earth is impacting us all of the time. And the fact that Earth is our true ancestor, and many of us have forgotten really our purpose here. And a big part of our purpose is to be caretakers of the Earth. It is, of course, to have this physical experience while we're here, but part of this beautiful, intricate Gaian web.
We have been interrupted a little bit by the connection. So if you can go a little bit, rewind a little bit what you were saying.
Okay, sure. I was just saying that humans have forgotten that they're part of this intricate, beautiful Gaian web of life, that we are here to experience physicality, but as this part, a piece of the puzzle, that we're not the only ones here. Much of the human experience has been very inward and very self-absorbed. And really, we are but one part of a huge, intricate puzzle of life that exists on this planet, and that all stems from Earth. And that is truly this whole Gaian system. And we have not been playing our role very well, have we? We've been creating a lot of plastics and garbage. We've been raping the Earth. We've been stealing. We've been taking her resources, not replenishing, not living in balance. And so a lot of my work is about bringing people into balance with the Earth, because when we are in balance, we become healthier. When we live close to the Earth and we eat the foods from the Earth, our microbiomes become happier and healthier. And when our microbiome is happy and healthy, because it makes up such a huge part of your body, over 60% of the cells in your body, then we, of course, are happier and healthier. Our immune system functions, our digestion functions, our liver's happy, pretty much everything in the body. The brain functions better, the happy hormones flow. So it's really all tied together. You can't try and treat one thing, and one aspect of it. The whole thing has to be looked at and treated as a whole system.
You said that you bring people to balance with the Earth. Mm-hmm. So what does it mean? Because I would have thought that we are unbalanced, but inside of us. So it's interesting what you said, because to bring balance with or to the Earth. So how do you work? Is it something particular? Do you understand my question? Because I'm wondering the balance we can find in us, and you are talking about the balance with the Earth. So it's like something that is outside of us. I don't know if my question makes sense for you.
Sure, that's okay. I'll try, and you let me know if you meant something else. I believe what you're asking is how to achieve that balance when it feels like it's something outside of us. So the balance that I help people to connect into is, first of all, a process that I go through in every healing I do and in every day. I always drop roots down into the earth and anchor my energy into the earth, because we are an energetic electrical system through our body. We have these chakras, and we're constantly receiving signals electromagnetically from outside and around our body. And our body, our entire dermis, our entire fascia is like this very intensely wired sensory organ that is bringing input and sensory input, whether it's taste, sound, smell, touch, whatever it is, and it's bringing it into the nervous system. It's going into the brain, into the hippocampus, and then getting routed into other parts of the body. Well, that is happening on the outside of us, but to complete the energy circuit, it's really important that we ground into the earth and connect into the mother, because this is part of who we are. We're this physical being that really came out of the earth, right? Everything, every constituent, every atom of us came from the earth. So when we ground into the earth, we complete that energy circuit. We weren't meant to be walking around on her service disconnected from her. We're meant to be very connected to her. And a big part of her ascension and her healing, which is always ever ongoing, is for all of humanity to start connecting into her and also flowing love into her, just as she has been flowing love into us all of these years and providing healing at no charge. Right? I mean, she's been doing it and providing us life and providing us this beautiful bounty of nature and the animals and the plants and all of that part of her system. And what we've forgotten is that to complete our circuit, to complete the circle, we need to also send energy back into her. And it serves to balance your entire system when you do that. Your whole energy system, if you're only receiving energy from up above and around you, it doesn't have a place to go, and it tends to fry the nervous system. There's too much coming in right now. The earth is ascending rapidly. There's a lot of new cosmic information coming in. The sun's changing the energy that it's sending to the planet. There's so much happening and so much changing. Then there's the whole mass consciousness. There's a lot of stress, anxiety in mass consciousness. There's a lot of things happening on the political scene and with mass shootings and with our government, especially in the United States. Things are really intense right now. And as we shift and structures that we have relied on for so long start to crumble and are reborn and reformed, which is the period we're moving into, it's really integral that we get ourselves rooted into our base and rooted into our ancestral lineage so that we can weather this incredible time of change.
It makes sense. It makes sense absolutely for me right now, because I would say that it is an essential process. It's also the time of reunion, reuniting. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I think I'm a little bit tired, and that's why I'm looking for my words and
okay.
mixing. And
All
so
right.
we are in this time of reunion, and what you are saying, which is actually to get this movement of connection and being one. It's being one with the earth. We have been separated, so now it's time to connect back to her and live together in unity. I don't know if it makes sense.
It does. It makes a lot of sense. And what you touch upon also is really important, is that for a long time, many people through their own ascension and awakening process were really trying to go up and out of their body, and we're trying to connect into higher dimensional realms. But because we came here to experience physicality, it's my belief that the way that you reach those higher dimensional realms is right through the center of your body, that you must be connected to your physicality, because that is what you came here to experience. And in fact, in my meditations and in my healing work, I see that the portal of entryway into those higher dimensional realms is right through the center of the heart, called the still point in the heart. And it's through the DNA. It's through the DNA in the center of the heart. And so the DNA acts as this portal because it holds all of your ancestral information, all of the genetic and epigenetic, all of the Akashic information. It's all of these layers of etheric DNA that surround the physical DNA that lie right in the center in this master code in your heart. And which also, by the way, which is probably something that you'll be interested in, also carries what I call the joy code. So our nascent, God-given soul energy that flows through our DNA has its beautiful, perfect form, right? It's pure potential. And in that pure potential, in what scientists would have once upon a time called junk DNA, in those sequences that we don't understand yet are many repeating codes of what my guides have shown me are the joy code. And that joy code is something that's lied dormant for a lot of people for many years. And so part of my purpose is to awaken that joy code in people and to help them reconnect into the joy of being here and of experiencing physicality. There's a lot going on that we can focus on that is not so good in our world, but by reconnecting inward to that beautiful part of ourselves that is in our soul's perfection and to radiate that outward into the world, for me there's nothing better than that. There's nothing greater of purpose that you can do, because you start to shift the energy and the people around you by doing that.
Yes, and I'm amazed because one of my two words to come like a mantra is love and joy. And when you are speaking and saying that is like your mission to help people to reconnect to that part, it's mine also in a certain way, because in doing that summit, it's to bring joy to the people, to reconnect to the heart. And it was like an evidence for me that reconnecting to the heart, it's like there is joy up there. For sure. For me, love and joy, this is about something that go together. These
Absolutely.
things are absolutely together.
Yes, absolutely. And it's the currency of the universe. It is, you cannot create from a place of fear, right? We can only create from that place of love and joy. And because that's what creation is. Creation is that abundance of joy and love in expression. And that's what the earth is as well. Look at all the amazing nature around us. I mean, most of the earth is in its natural state. There are lots and lots of collections of human beings in concentrated areas and cities and townships around cities. But for the most part, the earth is, I don't know, something like 85% just open land. And because of that, we remember, and when we visit those places and we step into that space and we just settle into the energy there, we remember that nature is joy, earth is joy. Animals are constantly in that joy state. And so it's just us humans that have forgotten about being in that joy state. And it's definitely time for all of us to return back to that and to connect into some simple ways of re-experiencing that in our bodies.
I love that. And so you are doing this work with your clients, helping them to reconnect to the earth and also to reconnect to their heart. And I love that because it's an evidence for you, maybe, because these are the same letters, heart and earth, and you just have to mix them. And so we are absolutely the same, I would say. There is like a print in our heart that we are connected to the earth. And yeah, that is so important for me. So I don't know how to say more than that, because we can't move forward if we don't connect to the earth. There is no other way.
Exactly. And what happens, though, a lot of times is that in our bodies, we manifest different, unwittingly, of course, we manifest different states of disconnection and disease and disharmony in the body, which is easy to do when we are out of sync with all of these systems. And sometimes we've been out of sync for so long that we create these diseases in our life, or sometimes it's just because of exposure to toxins or exposure to poor diet for a long time. And it's a problem with the systems in our body not being connected in a way that is beneficial for the body. And so there are all of the techniques to reconnecting into the joy, but first people must get healthy so that they feel that they have even the wherewithal to connect into the joy, because a lot of people are suffering from different physical issues that make it very difficult for them. And it doesn't feel simple for them. You know, when they hear that, they think, I can't just reconnect into joy. I'm suffering, I'm in a lot of pain. And so there's a process for many people. And if also they're suffering with different things cognitively, depression or different neurological challenges, they also need to come into a place where they can get centered and connected and healthy enough to then make it possible for them to connect into. So a lot of my work is helping people get to that place where then the joy code can be amplified successfully, and that they can really viscerally feel in their body. Because
they can really
viscerally feel it, you know, to actually physically feel it. And it's a physical sensation you get.
Yeah, it's important, and what you mentioned is absolutely right, because when we are in pain, there is nothing else that can be done, because we feel the body so strongly. We can't do anything else. It's quite impossible when I have an headache, for instance, to meditate. It's very difficult, because all the attention is drawn to that place that hurts, and the body is saying, yeah, do something, but actually, it's quite, very difficult. So
it overtakes your life, right? So first we have to get healthy and into a place of balance physically, so that then all the other treasures of the earth and of being here can be experienced.
Yes. When you were talking about the earth, the Schumann resonance vibration, and also that everything is interconnected. You were talking also about the sun, and that's crazy, because Heart Math did this experience regarding the Earth, but we know also that, and I think there has been also experiences with the sun, because of this. I don't know in English. But the electromagnetic, the winds, the
solar, the solar winds and
the solar winds are very strong, and these experiences showed that when we meditate, we have a mass meditation on Earth. A lot of people doing that meditation together. It was shown that there was this influence to the sun. I don't know if my English is good right now. But did you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
The influence of our humanity together, all together, we can influence the sun.
Yes, and I believe what happens is that the sun is sending its information, and all of the planets we're in constant communication and information with. We are very strong emitters of electromagnetic signals ourselves, and think of, there's 7-something billion people on this planet, all emitting a different consciousness and energy and electromagnetic signal. And then there's the earth itself, and that's interacting and mixing and mingling. And then there's all the other energetic beings that are here, some in help and some, for their own purposes, more parasitic means. But there's the whole gamut, right? Everything's happening here in this very dense environment, this third dimensional reality that we're in. And all of that has an energetic footprint. And that energetic footprint is experienced by other planetary bodies around us. And even the sun. I believe that the sun is probably in conscious interaction with us. So it's sending different information depending on what humanity is ready for. And then the earth is also responding. And so it's an amazing dance that we're in with all of these different elemental beings and planets. And it really reminds us that we are, like I was saying in the beginning, we're part of this incredibly intricate and beautiful system that is made up of more than just us, and we're a part of it, and we came to experience consciousness through a physical being, but in no way are we the only game in town. And I think it's important for us to remember that, and to remember that we really need to walk lightly and tread lightly upon this earth, and to really respect the earth and come back into a place of respecting nature and the earth and treating it as kindly as we would our mother, because that's been forgotten and things are getting really skewed out of balance because of that.
What comes to my mind right now is the term of relationship. Because it's like everything in the world, everything we perceive is something we can be in a relationship with. And we would have thought that the sun is a planet and it's not a living. I would use the word a living being, because actually, if he responds to our meditation, I mean, it's for me, it's a living being, because there is a response. So it's like I'm interacting with my cat. It's the same, because yeah, I'm playing with him. So it's like, okay, I'm raising awareness. I get, okay, now I'm in this world and I have to take care of all my relationships. Does it make sense for you?
Oh,
I mean,
it makes so much sense. And it's so true. And we have to really, really realize that we're in a time of very rapid manifestation. And especially for people who are doing the work and getting in touch with their consciousness and with their role as this quantum player, right? We're all in this quantum universe. Everything that is observed is malleable, can be changed by the mere fact of being observed. This is a quantum theory, a tenet of quantum physics, right? So as you observe something, it changes because you're observing it. And that is what consciousness is, right? As consciousness observes consciousness, the two start to intermingle and have a relationship together, and they start to change one another. Your cat changes you by responding to your reaching out energetically, and then you change your cat by reaching out energetically, and the two energies meet in the middle and they start to intermingle and feel each other and understand more about each other. And it's this incredible, beautiful dance of energy that's happening between two things in an environment constantly, and everything's doing it, right? Everything from your chair to your computer to the bird that flew by, everything is in constant communication with each other at some energetic level. And so you could really spend your days just sitting outside and connecting into every plant, every beetle, every chair. I mean, you could really, really go into that quantum realm and experience energy from all those possibilities and have so much fun with it and really start to understand your environment. And one of the things that happens when you start to do that and interact with your environment in that really proactive way as a quantum observer is that you start to change your brain. You start to grow new neural networks and new synaptic junctions form. And when you practice it and you do it more and more, because the brain likes repetition to make these new neural pathways stick, you start to expand the awareness and you start to expand consciousness and you start to expand the function of your brain, literally, and create more neuroplasticity. And the key to longevity is neuroplasticity, because if the brain is healthy and functioning and ever expanding, it doesn't start shutting down. So that's amazing way.
Sorry, you rewind a little bit. There was like a little interruption. Sorry. And
okay.
So it was like when the brain, it likes to repeat the pattern in order to.
Exactly. When the brain starts to, you were saying when it starts to connect into the environment. Yes. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
that
the part that we missed, it was like in order, we start to grow and the brains. What was exactly? I don't remember.
When we start to proactively interact with our environment, our brain starts to form new neural networks and new synaptic junctions, and it begins to increase its plasticity, meaning its ability to continue to expand. And that creates longevity, because the more neuroplastic our brain is, the easier it is for our body to live longer, because you've got all the right hormones coming out of the brain, right? The hypothalamus and the pituitary, everything's running, functioning well. The pineal is activated through that type of conscious observation of your reality. And the brain benefits in many, many myriad different ways. And that helps us to live longer and to be more engaged and to be more present and more heart-centered. And then when you add on top of that, connecting into your heart, and you allow more signals from the heart to go to the brain, then it really just brings it all into balance. So that's what I love to teach people how to do, is to really interact and play with their environment, because we're all quantum observers. We are all in this energy game. And it's so much fun. It can be so much fun if you play with it and you learn to play with it and you allow your environment to come to you. And instead of being afraid of it and thinking, oh, there's bad energy out there, just go out and touch it and feel it and experience it. And if it's not for you, then say, nope, that doesn't work for me. Off you go. You have firm boundaries. You're taking care of your energy garden. You are responsible for your own energy field. And when you start to play with energy and start to step into your energy field, then you can feel the difference of something that feels benevolent and beautiful to you versus something that feels more parasitic and low vibrational. And then you can, with love, send those things on their way and allow the things that feel really good and beneficial to explore more and to take part in them and to experience them and to learn from them. And it's just a fascinating way to interact with the things that we once maybe thought were mundane, but truly are a very rich and rewarding experience.
I love that, because you bring so many insights. I would say not medical, but scientific insights of how relationships affect the way we are in relationships affect our living and our reality, because it's all moving together. So if we are just closing down on ourselves, I mean, we are also influencing the environment, but we are like dying because we are not anymore interacting with others.
Right.
And
right.
we need to be in interactions because of that, because of this. This is like you bring water to the flower. This is our nurture. I'm sorry for my English.
It's okay. I understand what you're saying, but you're right. It's true. It's our mana, right? It's our energies. It's our energy stream. And the problem is that when you're not paying attention, not only do you absorb unwittingly negative, lower vibrational energies because you're around people who are stressed and you don't really understand how to manage being in the presence of someone who's very stressful, or you're reading the news, or you're at work and there's a lot of stress at work. You just can get into a place of absorbing all of that tension and stress in your body. And at the same time, you're in resistance to it because you don't want it. You're like, oh, that doesn't feel good. I'm going to be in this sort of resistant mode. And that creates a lot of pressure and stress on the organs and in the whole body systems. The microbiome especially is very consciousness driven and affected by your consciousness. So where you're in that high stress state, a lot of cortisol is flowing, norepinephrine is flowing, and it really puts the body into a hampered immune system. You're not in rest and rejuvenate. You're in stress and run from the tiger. And so let's shut down digestion. Let's shut down the immune system, because those are important right now, because what we've got to do is stay alive. And so the body in prolonged states like this just can't handle it. The nervous system gets frayed and the immune system forgets how to do what it's supposed to do. The microbiome gets tormented. And before you know it, you've got rampant inflammation in the body and different diseases that are coming up, right? There's over 100 different inflammation diseases that have been identified now. And it's something that's really, really common amongst people. So the more you take an active role in experiencing your environment, allowing yourself to experience energies, understanding, oh, that's not mine. I'm feeling stressed, but I'm feeling actually somebody else's stress. That actually doesn't belong to me, but I'm experiencing it. Okay, I can experience that and then just let it roll through me. I don't have to hold on to it. I don't have to own it. I don't have to engage in it in that way. It's okay to experience it, but then just let it go. You know, a lot of times headaches are from being around other people in high stress because your body's just like, oh, I don't want that. And so just, it's okay. You can feel that, but then just let it go. Drop it into the earth. Send your roots down and drop it into the earth, and she'll magnetize that stuff right out of you.
I love that, because it's all about interaction. And it's as if it's not as if we can grow if we are alone. Then there is no other way than to do it together. Does it make sense also that? Because now when you say that, for me, it's like an evidence. If we went, I couldn't do that alone. I wouldn't do that summit because there is no.
Right.
So everything is about connection. Everything is about relationship. If God wanted to make the experience of himself, herself, whatever, he just have to divide himself, herself into two entities in order to interact. So if we are alone, there is no interaction.
Right. That's correct. And in fact, there's these blue zones all over the world, right, where people are living very long lives, and you know, they tend to be like the mountains of Italy and little islands in Japan, right? And one of the things that those people tend to have, and that helps them live a long time, is they have community. And so, just like you said, if we want to live longer, it's all that new neuroplasticity that gets created when we're connecting with one another a lot, and when we're living close to the earth and we're eating homegrown food, and you know, all of those connections. I'm connecting with the earth, I'm connecting with a person, I'm connecting with the plants and the animals, I'm connecting with real food, I'm connecting with the experience of being part of my own sustenance, right? It's not, I'm no longer removed. I'm not a machine. I'm a human. I'm an animal. I am part of this Gaian web. I grow my food because I'm hungry, so I'm going to grow something to eat. When I do that, I get all the beneficial microbes from the soil directly to me, and they don't have pesticides on them, and they don't have toxins on them. And so this is a big part of it. It's connection to everything. It's connection to the animals, to the plants, and to the people, and to the earth.
And bringing the same attention to every connection, to every relationship. It's not because it's a cat that I don't have to take care the same manner I would take care of my son. I would say, we are made of this love, which is absolutely infinite. So we could bring this love, give this love, spread this love outside of us in the same manner to everything. So this is like, okay, I love the soil. I'm putting the seeds into it. I love the seed. And so if we pay attention in that manner to what we do, everything is working perfectly. I would say it's like the divine perfection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's true. And plants, you know, a lot of people say, if you talk to plants, they grow so much better. It's so true. When we do things and we're present with love, because you have such a strong electromagnetic signal that comes out of the heart, far stronger than what comes out of the brain. So when you're in that place of connectedness and you're doing something, then absolutely it just flows through, and it creates all that beauty around you. And that's the song of the earth, and that's the song of the universe and source, right? It's that beautiful love vibration. That's why I use sound, by the way, speaking of vibration, is that light coalesced into form moves through sound. So So it starts as light, and then it coalesces into a vibration of sound, and then it coalesces into a vibration of form. And so that's why I use sound in my healing practice to shift DNAs, because it's that process of light becoming form. And it's the same thing when we're connecting into things and we're bringing that energy. We're bringing a beautiful form of energy, electromagnetic signals. It's light coded, it's photons, it's particles. And it becomes, and when we're speaking, then we put voice to it as well. That's why when you talk to your plants, they grow even better. And when we speak to our animals, they say that the animals whose owners talk to them as if they're like a person are happier and live longer. And that's because the voice is the next step, right? The sound, the light and the particles coalesce into sound, and then they move into form. And so that's part of the process as well. And especially because we're physical beings and we're interacting with all these other physical structures. Sound is a beautiful way of being the midpoint between light and form. And that's why it's so effective at shifting form and interacting with and absorbing and bringing in the light.
And that's then we understand the importance of the intention.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the intention, I would say, is not pure, it's maybe a strong word, but we have to be aligned in order to bring this love. The verb is so important. So let's nurture our words with a true and loving intention, and then everything is working, I would say. It's like, always being in the center of the heart. So I love what you said, because it is bringing so much insights of, how can I say that? It's an evidence right now. It's like an evidence for me that there is no other way. There was no other way. If we want to bring love on earth, there is this true connection, and we have now, like the scientific proof that it works like that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, if we can rewind a little bit in your life, because now you are like feeling all of that, you are maybe seeing also. Do you see your mantis, as you call them? Do you see them when you practice healing?
I do. I mean, I see them in my mind's eye. I don't see them standing in front of me, but sometimes my clients do. They'll say, "Who's that large being in the room?" And I'll say, "Oh, don't worry, that's my guide, Mari." Yes, because but it was happening to me that when I was doing lots and lots of sessions during my training in body talk, that I started to see this being come into the room, and she started to inform me of what was going on with my clients. And that's when I learned to use the sound and to also to trust and really interact with her to understand what was going on in the body, energetically, emotionally, and all of, akashically, and all of the other influences that were coming in to the body to create the physical symptoms that the person was having, to help them to shift back into balance. And that's been a really amazing, fantastic relationship with that group of beings, the collective. They're very connected to the earth, and they really helped reawaken that connection for me as well. I've always been connected to the earth. I grew up in a really lovely natural setting. I spent a ton of time outside, and always was playing outside a lot of times by myself, never afraid. Even at night, I would be outside by myself, and never bothered me. I always felt protected, always felt something was, it was just fine. As long as I was with the earth, I was fine. And I came to realize later that these beings had been with me all along, and really helped to guide me and point me in the direction of many of my interests, such as, when I went to college, I had to work in the DNA lab. I had to work in the lab doing the genome project. It wasn't, optional that I could work in some other lab. And when I got there, they didn't have a job for me or a space for me. So I washed dishes for 3 weeks just so I could get a spot on the lab bench. And then they let me sit, because I knew there's no other place for me. This is what I'm here to do. I had to understand the DNA. So then that's what I focused on when I was working in biotech. And then, of course, when I was studying different modalities, whenever it came to the interaction with the DNA, that part really sung to me and really opened up my mind and my heart. And so it makes sense, because the mantis are very, very adept genetic healers, and they work at that level of the DNA because they understand that code within us is not just the 2 physical strands, but also the many layers of energetic DNA around it. And that's really where all of the information is coalescing and coming together, because we're these physical beings, that it's all in the DNA. And that's where the expression of our physicality interacts with our energy and our soul. And it all comes into form on that stage, right, in that environment. So they've taught me quite a bit about that, and about using light and sound to shift and to bring that back into balance and to work with it. And it's just been they really feel like family to me. It really feels, it's a truly wonderful connection, and I'm so grateful for it. And there's other beings I work with, other extra dimensional beings that bring in other parts of me. I'd say that in other aspects of my own consciousness and energy, having other lifetimes and in other realms, such as with this group called the Divinians and the Arcturians, which a lot of people have heard of. And so they bring in a lot of information to me and reawaken things that I have already, been a part of or experienced, and which I think is the same for all of us who are connecting into information from different extra dimensional beings. If you have an affinity and you connect in with a group, it's probably because you've got a past life, a group, you have an affinity energetically and you resonate with them for a reason. And that's because those codes are in your DNA, and that's, it lights up, and you're able to interact with them because of that connection. And so when people are channeling and bringing information, there's always a percentage of them that's there as well. And then there's a percentage of the collective, or the beings that are coming through too. It's always a flow of information, because you're a part of that as well. So anytime when you're doing that kind of work, or anyone else is, it's always that flow and intermingling of yourself and then of the collective that's coming through. And that's the really neat thing, because I think that really empowers all of us to understand that it's not that we're pulling information out of the sky that's not part of us, that is separate from us. You're literally just reawakening information that's a part of your own code, that's a part of your own knowing and remembrance and your other alternate lifetime experiences, because everything's in the now, right? Time is just a human concept. Everything's happening right now, in the now. You might be Arcturian in another lifetime, but it's all happening simultaneously, because time's just a human earth concept. So because of that, there's all of those myriad influences to play with and to bring to light and to bring to the planet at this time, if it serves you.
What I loved in your presentation, you were talking about this information we have in the ADN of DNA, sorry, from different past, parallel, or future lives, whatever. The image that came to me, we are like a fractal, so we can find in everybody. I have some. In a certain manner, maybe there is something of you in me, and we can find in every one of us a part of every one of us. So maybe we are in this time now where we are connecting all those informations, and because it makes sense for me when we say it's like when we use the word oneness, it's about that. We are one. It means that in every one of us, there is a part of every one of us. I don't know if
Yeah,
it makes sense,
I
the image I can
yeah.
have like that.
hmm I agree with you. And the way that the Arcturians have shown me that we come into being, it's like a sheet of energy flowing down that coalesces into sound and vibration and form. And the reason I bring that up is because not only are you interacting with all of your other expressions, right? If you think of each lifetime as an expression of your energy or a fractal of your energy, as you said, that is resonating with different aspects of you, but you're right, it's also resonating with other people that have similar energetic experiences, because we're part of a collective. And inside the collective, the oneness, we have threads of energy that vibrate in resonance with one another. And so those are those parts of us that we feel like part of me is part of you, is that, yes, we're vibrating in resonance with one another in particular instances or in certain aspects of ourselves. Because if we're a fractal and we've got all this, energy that comes as that fractal of our oversoul energy, which is connected into the oneness, parts of that fractal resonate in accordance with yours, right? And we're in resonance, and then with everyone else. And so there's something unique about you, and yet you are also part of that whole, that oneness. That's, to me, the way if that makes sense, the way it's been shown to me is that, there's these threads of energy that will resonate in unison with different aspects of the collective or with different people. And as they do, those experiences and those parts of you become amplified in your system as they become amplified in the collective. And so that's why a lot of people go through a lot of similar experiences simultaneously when energy on the planet changes and when the solar flares change. It causes a mass a mass shift, right? Because there's different aspects of our energy that all resonate in accordance with one another.
I love that. We are making a beautiful symphony all together because of those resonances and playing all together, being aware of each other, and so that's I love that. I love that because we are, I would say, finally tuning our instruments in order to play a real beautiful symphony. So it makes sense. I love that, and I love that. Yeah, really, really. We are about to end this interview, and I would like you to present the viewers because you have a free gift. And please, so can you speak a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I have provided a set of tones for everyone to experience. And the purpose of these tones is to bring you into the center of your heart and to amplify that signal through this symphony of sound that comes from my guides through me. And also to experience an online group and community that I've created to bring a lot of this teaching from the earth and from the Mantis Collective and all of the other groups that I work with forward at this time, and to help create a resource for people for their healing and for understanding themselves better and how they can interact with their environment and become that proactive quantum observer who is creating longevity and health for themselves and creating more of that excitement to be alive, really, as an intricate part of the web of life. And so I offer 2 months free subscription to that as well, and would be honored to have anyone who would like to participate with us. And it's a lovely group there to join in and to add their voice and to experience lots of different sets of tones I put up as part of that. And we have a monthly webcast to talk about. Each month we have a different unique topic, and the guides bring in information on that topic. And I just started it in March, and we've been talking about the energetic side of protection and the biochemical side of protection, as well as April was all about expansion and expanding your energy field. And so we'll be moving into different topics each month. So that's what I'd love to have people participate with me.
Yeah, and this is really interesting because we're talking about the sense of community that help us, because we are interacting with each other, we are taking care of each other, we are taking care of our relationships. So we are taking care in the same time of ourselves. So that's every time there is this mirror that is playing his role to help us to remember that we are one. So taking care of you is taking care of me. So that's
absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. So thank you very much for participating, for co-creating with us this show, and for co-creating this new Earth that we are co-creating right now, because this is right now that we do that. So
absolutely. Thank you for having me and for putting this together. It's wonderful that you're bringing this to the world. It's just been a pleasure talking with you today.
Yeah, it has been mine. And I thank you, viewers, to be part of this co-creation. And let's remember to let's shine our light outside of our heart into the world. So bye-bye. And I don't know what we are going to create together, but it will be absolutely beautiful. Bye-bye.